Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Rosalind, again, and the team from Magic for the warm welcome. I hope everybody is doing well. I do understand the numbers are not encouraging, but let us keep positive and see how we can make our businesses even better moving forward. So I'm Safura, again, from Stratnavigo Consulting PLT, working together with Growth Wheel today to with Magic and showcasing what Growth Wheel can help you in ensuring that your business would have actionable strategies. And today is a continuation of what we did last session. And last session was an introduction on Growth Wheel. And also we spoke about your as-is assessment. And I believe those who joined me and us last week, we shared with you the 360 as-is assessment form that actually you can use to look at your businesses and to see what would be your focus area, what's your biggest challenge, and what will be your focus area for the near future. So I have, I believe, 45 minutes to an hour. Feel free, again, if you have any questions, either type it in the chat box for those who are on Zoom or in the comment section in FB Live. Inshallah, we will do our best to answer any questions that you have. Right, so today, following up from the last session, I'll be covering on what we call business concept. And from the poll we did just now, I do see quite a few, I think more than 60 to 70% of you who answered the poll said that your biggest challenge is business concept. So today we'll be talking more about business concept and what are the things you can do, what are the decisions you need to make, and the actions that you can take in order to improve your business concept if you're already a running business, or for you to develop a strong business concept if you're starting a business. So I just like to share, this is where we are today, Strategize for Growth, Business Concept, and we have another 3 webinars, inshallah, where we will talk about further about the other 3 challenges, which is customer relations, organizations, and operations. And inshallah, out of this today's session, we'll also be sharing at least 3 decision sheets that will help you moving forward with business concept strategies. Okay, I've actually shared the decision sheets with the team Magic. So if you're registered with us, inshallah, they will give the decision sheets for you to help you along. Right. So before I start, I like to again emphasize this point that each business, depending on where they are in the life cycles, would be having different decisions and different actions. Okay, so it really depends on where you are. And also the information that you get. How do you get the information, the data that you require will also be dependent on where you are in the business life cycle, company life cycle. Because for example, if you are pre-startup or startup, a lot of your business concept is pretty much assumptions. It's just what you think it should be. It's not validated. So how Growth Wheel will help is actually to help you, how do you validate whether your assumptions are correct or they need to be improved. You need to relook and pivot the ideas that you have. Whereas if you are pre-growth, growth, and maturing, perhaps your business concept is already there because you already exist in the environment for some, like for ecosystem for some time. But you need to relook at it. You need to redesign it. And the information is actually already ready, available to you compared to pre-startup and startup. So for you who are pre-growth growth, the information is pretty much from the database that you have from the business that you're already running. especially if you're looking at redesigning your business concept, current business concept. Most of the information is available to you at hand, especially if you may ensure that you collect the information. A lot of people I know, they have a point of sale system, but they just use it just to collect how much money they make. What's the sale of the day? They don't use it in actual fact to collect information about who the customers are. So as a business, it's really important, when you're looking at a business concept, those data are critical. It's critical for your business. So please bear in mind, because unlike somebody who started up, they have to go out and find. But when you are already pre-growth and going to mature, the information is available to you. So you don't really need to go out and look for it. Okay. Just to clarify on that. So a lot of people will ask me, Safura, where do I find those information? So I need to know, where are you in the company life cycle, right? So then from our last session, I shared with you when we talked about, you have 4 challenges. Each business, any industry, any life cycle, they would have 4 challenges. So the question would be, what would be your biggest challenge? And what would be the focus that you would want to do for the next 30, 60, 90 days? So this is where, when you do your assessment, your as-is assessment, it will help you to give focus to what you need to do now, what decisions you need to make, and actions you need to take. So because as entrepreneurs, I know, and as humans, we tend to be bogged with a lot of information. We get information overload. Sometimes even paralysis from analysis. So with having something like this, something visual, a visual checklist, it will help you as an entrepreneur to know what you need to prioritize up first. What's the focus area? And it also would help you and your team to be on the same page. So I always recommend entrepreneurs to do an as-is assessment at least once every month, to see whether your focus has changed, because some things you're already done. You need to change your focus. Some things, might take longer than a month for you to do. So it helps to have at least once a month to look at your as-is, where you are in the business, and what are the things you need to focus for the next 1 to 3 months. Okay. So having this will help communication with your team. So I always love to start this as a conversation starter. It's not really the end of the conversation, but pretty much to explore, why do you think that focus area is important? So you would have something to talk about, either with your team or with your business advisor. Okay, so for those who already have this document, please do feel free to use it and use it to have a conversation again with your team, with your business advisor, to see what would be your focus area. So you've determined your focus area. So when we move along, okay, and today we're going to talk about business concept. And from my experience handling so many entrepreneurs and businesses before this, I do notice that a lot of, not only SMEs, but even large organizations, they still need to go back to their business concept. Because business concept do need to be looked into, especially when it involves changes in the environment. Okay, given a good example, the pandemic. The pandemic has disrupted a lot of businesses. And because of that, we need to look back at the fundamentals of our business concept. Okay, so if you are a startup company, normally business concept would be your main focus area. If you are already in business for some time, external factors like technology, environment, market, competition would want you to relook at your business concept. Okay, so fundamentally, I do find a lot of businesses, even though they've been around for some time, they really need to also look at their business concept, because to me, it's the fundamental of the business model that they are working on. So how do we look? If I do a visual and you're looking at business concept, pretty much these are the 3 circles that you want to merge into the sweet spot. Okay, the sweet spot, which is in the middle here. So you're looking at the market desirability. You're looking at whether your product or services is desirable by the market. People would want to buy it. People would want to use it. They need it. You also need to make sure that whatever business concept you have is viable business-wise. It makes a profit, that it has enough, you're able to, financially be profitable with that business. Either, if you're talking about a profitable business, profit-based business, it makes profit. If it's a non-profit, it has returns towards the community, whatever benefit that you measure. And finally, you're looking at the feasibility, whether you have the technology, whether you have the skills, whether you can operate that particular business concept. So we want to find the sweet spot in the middle, taking into consideration external environment, the competition, supply demand, the supplier, the political scenario, and all, if you learn economics, you'll be talking about pestle. So, but what we want to look at looking at your business concept is finding the sweet spot among these three, elements. And another way to look at it is when we talk about business model canvas, because definitely business model canvas looks at these three elements of market desirability, business viability, and operation and technical feasibility. So if we look at a business model canvas, the focus of business concept, majority part of it is the one colored in red, where you look at your value proposition, you're looking at your customer segment, you're looking at the channels, how do you deliver your value to your customer, and also how do you make money, okay? So if we're talking about business concept, this is the front end that we are focusing on in the business model canvas. And when we look at growth wheel, as I mentioned in the previous webinar, we do have, when you're looking at the business concept portion circled in yellow, you would see it covers the four things we're looking at: value proposition, customer segment, revenue stream, and channel. And this is where business concept comes in. So fundamentally, if you're a startup, we always love to start here first. If you are a ongoing business, this is where you look for redesign, to innovate your business with what you have currently. How can you be more innovative? Okay, right. Of course, this is a webinar, so let me stop here and just check on the chat box and see.
No questions yet.
Just comments, right? Having said,
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right, awesome, right? So I always get nervous when I'm speaking alone. Okay, all right. Awesome. So feel free if I'm going too fast, if there's any question, please feel free to put it in the chat box and we'll share. Right. So let's just go into a bit on detail. As I said, the business concept challenge has 5 focus areas. What are the 5 focus areas? Okay, I already sort of shared here. Let me go to the visual itself. So when we're talking about how do you make your idea clear to you and your customer? Okay, so when you talk about business idea, it is about that. How do you make your idea clear to you and your customer? And when we're talking about the customers, we're not just talking about the customer that you're selling your product and services, but you're also to some extent talking about your stakeholders. People who might be interested to collaborate with you, people who might want to do business with you. Okay, so it doesn't have to be your end customer itself. So this focus area is all about the story behind your business. Why do you want to go into this business? So the focus area will be on your mission, your vision, and the story that came to be. A lot of people don't realize how important the story of why you started the business. they just think, oh, people just want my product, or oh, people just want my service. They're not interested in the story. But in actual fact, the story is really important for you to help you in the other parts of the business, which is customer relationship. So when you are clear about your mission and vision and the story, how it came about, and the ambition that you want, and if you clarity on this, it makes the rest of the challenges in your business easier for you to overcome. Okay, I give one example. I think Magic knows, because we used to work, when I was with SEDA, I used to work with Magic on the social enterprises. So there was this one particular company, I'm not going to name names, who was doing this particular very interesting business. But the founder was very quiet about the story behind the reason he started the business. So when we had this conversation about the business idea, and the particular person shared why the business came about, the idea came about, and I said, wow, if you could share this idea to become the alignment of why people should buy from you, it would be a fantastic thing to share. And sure enough, decided to use that as the backbone of the business idea, that they are able to leverage to overcome challenges in their customer relationship, for example, and also to get better employees. So having things, people underestimate the importance of the story and how your business comes to be. So in this business idea focus area, Growthwheel does have a template that helps you with the business idea, which I will share later in this webinar. Okay. And next, when we talk about product portfolio, okay, so this product portfolio focus area helps you design and develop product with the decisions and actions that you need to take. So it helps you to decide what combination of products you should have in your assortment, decisions on product design and value proposition and the future product development. So if your focus is on product, then me as a business advisor, or if you do a workshop, the focus would be on this. So there are decision sheets on this, and I believe I'll be sharing one of it, talking about your product mix. So how do you look at it in order to help you make decisions, what product mix that you would want, what combination which is important to you to match with your customer segment. Okay. Remember, we are looking for the sweet spot. We are not looking for any arbitrary point within the three elements. We're looking for the sweet spot. So definitely everything has its job, right? So the one of the most important, but actually it has equal importance, is the revenue model. How do you make money? How do you, in your business concept, how do you plan to make money? In Growthwheel, we do share 26 ways you can make money, okay? But you don't choose all. You choose the revenue sources depending on the business model that you want to have. So knowing what's best makes it easy for you to decide things like your price. How do you set, what sort of plans that you want to have? Whether you would want to use discounts as part of your leverage on your model, or also policies that you would make in tandem with your values when you talk about price increases. So a lot of people do this very randomly, but when you know what needs to be done, it's easier for you to make decisions and take action. Okay. Then we talk about customer portfolio. So this is for you to focus on the right customers. So when you understand, when you know which customer that you want to focus on, and as much as possible, the right customer that would appreciate the value that you bring, then it would help you to prioritize Okay, it will help you make the right decisions of what should you prioritize, because different customers would have totally different needs. So this would help you make decisions what is important to you based on your business idea. Okay, whether you would want to customize your products, how do you communicate in future, the channels that you want to use, and also to see how you can add more value to the customer. So we'll be looking at, I believe some of you here perhaps have done customer persona. I'll share with you a decision sheets that help you in further identifying your customer persona for your business. Okay. And finally, which is also very important, because when we're in business, we are not alone. This focus area looks into the position of your company in the market. Okay, so some people, they like to think, oh, I would want to start my business because I've got a business idea. Okay, some people would probably start their business because they look at what's available out there and there's a gap. Okay, or they would say, I have a technology, I have a product, and this product is unique, and I want to have a business idea on that. So there's multiple way of us starting a business. So that's why when we look at business concept, we don't give a rating, which one is you start where, which one is more important. It's actually where you are at that point of time. So as I said, if you know a market gap, okay, and you want to then develop a product, you can actually start off with the market position focus area. So this focus area centers around your relation with market players. Okay, so this is especially important for businesses that's already ongoing. So you want to look at your competitors, see what's the gap. Or again, as I mentioned, if you're a startup and you see there's a gap and you want to start your business concept based on market analysis, this is also a great way, a great place to focus on initially. Okay, so you want to, what we have here is that we would have how to improve your company's competitive position if you're already ongoing business, or to explore new market and trends. So these in turn, as I mentioned, are the 5 focus areas that we have in business concept. So we've got the idea, we've got the product portfolio, we've got the revenue model, we have the customer portfolio, and we have the market position. So what is the outcome when you're looking at these 5 focus areas? Is a recipe for your business. So business concept is pretty much a recipe, a business model for your business to create the most value and capture those value to make your business profitable. So this, to me, fundamentally is something, if you're a startup, you start off with this challenge of business concept. But if you are an ongoing business, it's a focus area that you look, especially when you are thinking about redesigning your business, being more innovative, looking for other solution, exploring your customer segment, exploring new products. So this is where business concept is all about. Okay. So any questions so far, Roslyn?
Hang on. I don't think there is. I think we are following you quite closely.
Okay. Okay, and I have to look at the time. Okay, I've got I'm in my third halfway. Okay, all right, great, awesome. So again, what I like to show with you, if you look again, like just now I shared with you, we're looking at a value proposition, we're looking at customer segment, and we're looking at channels, and we're looking at revenue stream. When we're talking about the basis, the fundamental of your business concept, this is where you know, the external part of your business. This is where you want to capture, you want to create and capture value. The part where you're talking about your partner activity, resources, and cost structure is pretty much you're talking about the operational, and you're talking about the viability, and you're talking about the feasibility, more on that. Okay, so that is once you already identified what would people want to buy from you, get from you, what are the things that you can offer of value to them. Okay, right. So in growth wheel, just to share with you, if you see the coding there, Y101, there are decision sheets that help you along when you want to discuss these things. For example, when you're talking about value proposition, we have decision sheets that talk about your mission, your idea description, and your product qualities. Why? Because that's how you translate the value that you have to the customer that you're targeting. Okay, and there's a lot of businesses that I see so far when they want to offer something, their value proposition, they think their value proposition is product-based or service-based alone, without realizing that the business itself should reflect the value proposition. It shouldn't be different. It shouldn't be, oh, I am, say, for example, a commercially driven business, but I want to offer eco-friendly product. It already creates a contrast. It creates a difficulty in us to sustain that business model. So that's why for me, when I'm, a lot of situation, when you're looking at your value proposition, it's not just carried by the product or the service that you offer, but it's also carried throughout as a core value in your organization, the belief system. So when we're talking about value proposition, don't stop at the product or the service that you offer, but you need to ask yourself, as an organization, why do you carry this value proposition for that product and service? So it's something to think about, because I do find entrepreneurs struggle in identifying their value proposition because they don't have clarity in their organizational mission. They don't have clarity in the why they are in business. So a lot of times I would go back with them and I said, can you share me the story of why are you in business? And there's no wrong or right. Don't think that you need to be ecological to be considered good. There's no contest. There's no. It's up to individual. That's why entrepreneurship is wonderful. It's a buffet of uniqueness. As long as again, you don't contradict the law, you don't contradict things which is fundamentally basic, then it should be all right. So don't quote me on that, but that's what I believe. There's no, as long as you don't go against the law, you don't go against community, then you should be fine. Okay, there's nobody is going to rate you. The only people that will rate you will be your customer. Okay, so make sure you identify the right customer, giving the right value. Okay, right. Yeah, yes, like Rosaline is saying, believe in what you offer, the being of why you're being there in that business, right? So that's why one of the things that we work on when you're talking about value proposition is your mission, the idea description, because you'll be selling your value proposition. So we work so much on your idea description so that when you have the opportunity to meet somebody within 3 minutes, you can describe what you are all about. And people will be interested in to listen with you more, either as a customer or as a stakeholder, okay? And then the product qualities. What about your product that makes it something of benefit to your customer segment, okay? So then we look at the customer segment. What are the decision sheets that will help you along? For example, is who's your favorite customer? Who are the people, so we create a database. We help you create a database to say, who are your favorite customer? And then how do you, find out from them, why do they buy from you? What is the element or the value that you provide to them that makes them stay with you? What are the market segments either you are already in or you haven't explored? Okay, so it helps you to be able to be more innovative in your offering. What's your competitive position? We want to see our situation compared to others, because without comparison, we wouldn't know the gap of how we can improve ourselves. So there's also a position map but I wouldn't actually go into detail with that one, but it gives you a visual representation of where you are in consideration with your competitors and the value that they offer in consideration. And this is a tool that is been adapted from Blue Ocean Strategy. Okay, and we look at channels, customer pipeline. There's a decision sheet on customer pipelines, methods and ways to actually reach out to customer, and also lead generation. And finally, when we're talking about the revenue stream, what you'll see, what we share is actually 26 ways you can make money. It's not valid for all business models, but it's good to know so that you can see how can you, if you choose to innovate your revenue stream, what do you need to have in order to be able to do that. And also there's a decision sheet to help you along with your price plans. Okay, right. So this is in a business concept. Actually, there's a lot more, but I'm not going to overwhelm you. Suddenly people would say it's just like doing a PhD. So again, as I said, what's important, if you have the 360 assessment form, you identify what would be your focus area, and we can, either you choose to do workshops based on your focus areas, or if you like, working together with Magic, finding a business advisor who can help you with that particular focus area that you're interested in. Okay, right. Next, so let me just, I see there's a chat popping up, so let me just have a look.
Yeah, there are two questions actually. This is from Zafri and there's one from FB. Do you want to take these questions now?
Okay, sure. A customer market segment should also consider geographical target. Definitely, definitely. Because again, knowing your product, knowing your service, does geography play a role? Okay. If your product, for example, is perishable product, then geography is very, geographical targets is very important because your item is perishable. So maybe things like trying to send it beyond where you are would be a challenge. So it might be a parameter that's limiting you. So yeah, it does. You have to look at all the parameters to see the impact, whether it's something you can utilize or not. So that's why, that's why I really love the decision sheet, because they already list out all the potential challenges you will face. So you choose, okay, I can do this, I can't do this, so I'll be showing you, I'm, as you can see, I'm showing the slides idea description. So definitely you should consider geographic target if your product and services has limitation in that parameter. Otherwise, for example, non-perishable like clothing, or a product which has no it has longer lifetime, you can, geography should not be a problem. Okay, so it would be a parameter that doesn't limit your target. Okay, I hope that answers the questions, Zafri. Say yes in FB. This is in FB or is in chat?
Zafri is in our Zoom.
Okay, all right. Okay, great. Great. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Zafri, for the awesome question. All right, next, the question from FB. I know Razman Ghazali. Should we also identify our unfair competitive advantage? Definitely. Definitely. That would be in your key resources, your key partners. Those things are your the things that create a differentiating factor for you, makes you different than your competitor. Definitely. And this is why it's good to have that upfront, so that does everybody in your team agree, or you short sendiri? Okay, because sometimes would say like, oh, this is recipe tradisi 100 tahun. Okay, is it true, or it's just a self-belief? So you need to do that comparison, whether it is, what is unfair advantage? Unfair advantage meaning you have a resource, or or skill, or something that your competitor doesn't have. It doesn't have to be one thing, it could be a mix of it. Yeah. Does that help, Gary? Meaning in comparison to your competitor, for example, technology. I mean, I give an example, a recipe, 100-year recipe. Maybe there's one ingredient that you're the only one who has, who knows what the ingredient is, and you are the only one who has the sauce to it. So that would be an unfair advantage. It could be a mix. It could be a key person. You've got somebody who is the main cook, who has learned to cook from the the best chef in the world and can come up with magic. Okay, I hope that helps. Does it answer your well, I know you can say it in Facebook is, yeah, again, as I said, business model canvas or all these documents is your internal documents. You don't really share it with other people. So don't worry about sharing it within your team. It helps to share with your team because it creates synergy. Imagine yourself in a bus. Your business is a bus. Bus is so mundane. Maybe an airplane. You're flying an airplane, right? And you have a team. If your team don't know where you're going, if your team is not clear about your business concept, how can you operate your plane effectively, efficiently? Because you need to be very fuel efficient, right? If there's anything that's going to happen, you have to make quick decisions and you have to take quick action. So having something like this, being clear about your business concept, helps your team to to make the right decision and take the right action at the right time. Instead of you putting in everybody, the only person who knows everything is the founder. The founder, something happens to him and that's the end of the business. Sorry to use that such a harsh example, but that's the reality in business nowadays. Okay. If this was a meeting, I'll ask everybody, thumbs up if you like the example.
Which is true.
Okay, but we're in a webinar, so I'm looking at my own face. So, yeah. Okay. Thumbs up. Thank you, Kadri. Right. So again, experience. Talking from experience. Best entrepreneur, best sort of business is when you have a team. And when you have a team, what's the biggest challenge? Communication. And when you have something like a visual checklist like this, and you have a way to communicate effectively, teamwork makes dream work. Okay, so that's why to me, having tools like decision sheets really help. Make sure everybody on the same page. So here I'm sharing with you idea description. If you can see, this is a typical decision sheet by Growth Wheel, and all sheets are pretty much the same format. And if you can see on the left, it talks about what are the things you need to do, okay, jobs to be done. And it says there, how do you do it? How do you use that decision sheet? And it says, what are the next steps? So what's next? Okay, so every decision sheet has this. It will talk about what are the things you need to do, how do you do it, and what's the next step. And what it has here is that the framework of the particular focus area that you're looking at. For this one, we're talking about idea description. Okay, you have an idea, and the thing is, if you can't describe the idea, then the idea, you can't sell it. Okay, so having something like this decision sheet will help you construct your idea into something concrete that will help you be able to share it and validate whether your idea needs to be improved. You can test it to validate it. You can see whether you can get traction from it. Or you can say, oh, this idea, I should just bury it, But this would help you, as I said, construct a concrete idea into something which is able to be communicated. So it talks about, okay, and you can utilize this for multiple ideas. Don't cram all ideas in one sheet. You can use this sheet for multiple, multiple sheets for multiple ideas. So you will say, what's the name of your idea? What's the summary? How did it emerge? Okay. What are the things, resources, what needs to be available for the idea to be able to, go to the next level? What customer or group or markets that you're looking at to make this idea feasible, okay, desirable? Currently, how is the trend? How's the market? And then is there an opportunity for you to patent? But this is not something really important unless your idea is something technically based, okay? Then you can have, okay, what's the product? How do you make money? What are the costs required in order for you to make or deliver that service, make the product or deliver the service, and how ready are you? Okay, what's the gap? So this itself, this sheet alone will help you be able, as I said, to construct your idea to something concrete that you can decide whether this idea is something you can fly with or not. Okay, and you have this on top here, additional checklist, additional components. What are the issues? Maybe because this idea is a personal ambition. You personally invested in this idea. So you just take it. Or you said, I don't want to develop it, but this idea, I just want to have the rights to the idea. Okay. You can also talk about, additional components of what is the problem that this idea solves. So there are other things you can add on. So this is not the end of it. This is just the beginning for you to help you construct your ideas to be concrete. So you'll be able to communicate it better with your team to decide which idea you want to take up. Do you want to take it up now? Or you have to wait until you have some needs to be satisfied? What are the parameters? Okay. Is the market ready? So those things are the decisions that you have to, think about. So as you said, as I mentioned here, the next step, write a final document, draft a text, do a presentation and share the idea with your team who can give feedback. You can actually use it to validate the idea with your customer. Okay, right. So that's one decision sheet which would help you in your business idea. Okay, right. So feel free, any questions, you can type it in the chat box, or if you have FB Live, inshallah, we would do our best to answer it. Okay, right. What's another decision sheet which is awesome? Customer persona. I love this one because it gives you a basic idea about the customers that you want to target, to the point that you can imagine if that person is your potential customer and he or she is going, you just walking past you say, okay, that's my potential customer. I'm going to go to that person and ask questions to validate the idea. So it gives quite detail, you can put the type of the persona, you can give them a name, and you can give the detail, what's their age, their gender, education, position, work, what industry they're in, where's their location. And then what are they thinking, feeling, doing, and where are they going? Okay. And then what you say, where are they at this point of time? What are the challenges that they face? What are their needs, their circumstances, environment, resources, and others? Again, what is the job to be done? To understand your customer. So this, if you already have customer, you're an ongoing business, it's just a question of filling it up with the customer, which is your majority, who is the main customer in your company. So you would know them, so that any analytical work that you do after this, for example, your customer relation, you already have the information here. You don't need to go and find it anymore. All right. So, so you decide what is important, what's useful. So then you can actually use this to further enhance targeting that particular customer. All right. I mean, I give a good example, a workshop that I did once about business model canvas, and we were talking about customer segments, and I was asking this lady who was selling tudung, and she was saying my customer segment, my customer person, anybody who's 7 to 70. Okay. So what happens, 7 to 70, somebody who's 7 years old, and somebody who's 70 years old, they have different tastes, different requirement, and you will be just spending your money with for marketing in a very unfocused way. Okay. So what happens, 7 to 70, somebody who's 7 years old, 7 years old. Sorry, that is okay. I'm hearing myself. Wow, okay. Okay, so having customer persona helps you when you are going to do your market analytics. All right. Okay. So another decision sheet that I promised to share when I was talking about product mix. Okay, let me see chat. There's a comment. Okay, the question Jess was asking, customer persona is completed for each. No, you don't. You can group them. You can group customer persona, for example, female between the age of 25 to 29 years old. And what are the criteria that you're looking for that matches the customer that you want. Okay, so you don't need to have for everybody, but you would have a persona for a particular group that you're looking at. All right. So how I would do it for example, for an ongoing business, I would look at the main target customer, who are the main customer who buys my product or service, and I will create a persona for that particular group of people. One example I could give, when I was doing coaching for pharmacy, so they said that their main customer, this particular pharmacy, the main customer that buys a lot from them are housewives aged between 45 to 50. Okay. And because they actually buy for their family. So having that small group that is the main, you can create a persona for that particular small group that you have identified. Okay, you don't need to do everybody for every age, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that would be crazy. Just do like, again, I would imagine persona, you would look at a age gap of maximum, between 5 to 10 years. Because after that, a decade is already different taste. Somebody who's 17 and somebody who's 27, they already have different tastes and different commitments. So yeah, does that answer your question, Jess? Awesome. Okay, right. So you just basically do the persona to make sure I can identify. If you look at them, okay, this is from this group. And the labeling is to help you come up with how can you add value to your offering to them. So Zafri is asking, what is your opinion? Should we have few category of customer persona or just focus to one? How I look at it, I would have a few, and I would use it to see which one I can capture the most value. So I would actually create a few, and if I don't have customer persona, I will create a few, and from the data, I will look at which one I can capture the most value. And that would be my main persona. So you use this as, in actual fact, to make decision and take action. You don't use this as just because Safura tells you to do it. Please understand, you're doing this to get information. You're not doing this just the sake of doing customer persona. No. When you're doing customer persona, you're using it so that you can understand them further, so then you can answer the question, how can I offer them more value and capture more value from them? What are the products and services that I could offer them that, you know, nobody else is offering? For example, as I mentioned just now, this particular pharmacy, the target market, the people, you know, the customer that comes, the biggest client that comes to their pharmacy is women aged 45 to 50-year-old. Okay, so then when they know that, they would say, okay, how else can I add value for them? So instead of just selling medical products, perhaps there are things like anti-aging, okay, things about being healthy after, you know, after 40, doing exercise programs, because they already identified the main customer persona in their organization, in their business, so that they can innovate about what other offerings that they can give to capture value from this persona. So that's the point of persona. It's not just for you to do, to know, say, oh, my persona is this, age 25 to 30, okay, that's it. No, to make it actionable, you say, okay, how can we create value so that they would continuously be with us, and also we are able to capture value from them. Okay. So question from Zana, awesome question. Thank you everybody for the question. I love when there's question, makes my life more fun. How can we broaden our persona and touch the international market in the same time? Does these two things relate? Depends on your business model. Is your product or service something that is needed or benefit in the international market? Okay, so you can actually look at the customer persona internationally and see whether there is some, what do you call it, similarity that you can service. So definitely you can broaden, especially nowadays with social media, with marketing, the market is even wider depending on the product. You know, I give an example. My daughter, she's 22, and they have this group that does, you know, are into stickers. You know, and the age group is like 20 to 20, you know, actually late teens. I would say 18 to 24, and they love collecting stickers, and it's international. So the persona is girls aged between 18 to 24, that loves all this, you know, stickers, cute stickers, they're designers and things like that. So yeah, you can actually use that. So it is relatable. It's again understanding your market and customer. I hope that answers your question, Zana. So what I like to do when I'm traveling, actually when I travel, I don't actually just go for the tourist attraction, but I also go to their sundry shops, I go to their market, and I go to their supermarkets, and I go to their stationery shops, the ones that tourists don't usually go. So from there itself, you can able to see the trend and the lifestyle that they have over there. And the thought that I would have is that, you know, how can a product that I make in Malaysia be attractive into a market? You know, so we look at the similarity, the solution to the problems. I hope that answers your question, Zana. Okay, right. So I'm just gonna move on. So next one is a decision sheet on, because it's already 4 o'clock, so I've got to rush a bit. Product mix. So you can see here, you know, what's the job to be done. Making decisions on which product to offer to customers is one key issue of business. And also when we offer bigger range of products, we can attract bigger customer market, new customer. So what we do here is that is a thought process. It's a process for you to say, okay, what are the products that you can introduce? What are the core products? What are the variation you can offer? What are the add-ons? Okay, so this is actually for you to be able to have an you don't have to fill up everything. Doesn't mean that you have everything, you don't, but you just use this to help you think what decisions and actions you need to take. For example, you need to make sure that you have some core products and you have variations that match a particular segment that you want. Okay, for example, people always assume girls like pink. So if the core product is white, then you would have a variation pink in color. Okay, if you, for example, you look at Cuvings, which is a household product, they sell all this like cooking and mixer. So what they do is that they have color palettes. So they've got this sky blue, which, you know, so people who like blue, they will buy, you know, it's a variation that they have. So it's for you, it's a decision whether you want to consider variation in your product to fulfill the customer segment. Okay, right. And quickly, let me see what am I sharing next. Then we have, okay, so this is also a decision sheet where you look at growth scenario. So how do you want to grow your business? Okay, are you going to look at volume? Is it product that you're looking at, or you're just going to have ideas? Or are you going to talk about quality, network, market? So I'm not going to go into this one in detail because this is more towards those who are ongoing businesses, right? So what I like is that in the end of the day, whenever you have the decision sheets, what you need to do is, it's actually a platform for you to think about what decisions I need to make. When do I need to make it? Who would make the decisions? And then what are the actions you need to take? So again, from experience, it's good to have it written down. So there is this 30, 60, 90-day plan that I will share with Magic Team, that will share with you, that you can use as a method for you to record what decisions you need to make for each decision sheet, each focus area that you have, and when do you need to do it, and who would be in charge in making it happen. Again, if you don't measure it, if you don't monitor it, it doesn't get executed. Okay, so how can you get a copy of this decision sheet? There's already some decision sheets that I've shared with the Magic Team. If you're registered in this webinar, they will be sharing it with you after this. I hope you've given your email or contact details. Inshallah, they will be sharing it with you. I provided a few from our description today, and I hope you find it beneficial. So with that, that's it for me today. It's 4 o'clock and I try to complete within time. So I hope everybody will be able to, you know, make decisions, take actions. I hope the decision sheet, is especially the idea description, product mix, will help you in making your strategies actionable. Make the strategies actionable, because if you have strategies, you don't execute it, it would, you know, your business will stay the same. And as I mentioned, things like customer persona, it is not just for you to do it for the sake of doing it. It is for you to learn about what you need to do next. Okay, it's about for you to learn to what decisions you need to make and what actions you need to take in order to help your business grow further. Okay, maybe validate some assumptions that you have about your business, or redesign your business to take into consideration the changes in the environment, so that you'll stay sustainable and relevant in future. So again, you can contact me at q@stratnavigo.com. My number is there. WhatsApp, don't call, or you can also contact directly with Team Magic if you have any questions or queries. With that, that's my session.